Hi guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I'm live on the front porch. I have a special live I wanted to talk about something I don't usually talk about directly, but I want to talk about the Kennedy supposed assassination. I know what happened there. Been watching a bunch of shows about it, and I just thought I'd tell you guys what I know or what I believe happened. There was a guy named J.D. Tippit that looked just like Kennedy, who they killed first, and then they had him in the trunk of the car, and then Kennedy, and then they used what's called a squib to make it look like Kennedy had been shot. It's a movie special effect that wasn't very well known in the 60s. So Kennedy wasn't actually shot. He just had a squib go off to make it look like he was shot, and then Kennedy crawled back into the part of the car that's like an escape room for the president in case something happens. Where the dead J.D. Tippit already was, they pulled the dead J.D. Tippit up into the back of the car, and J.D. Tippit was the one that died, and his body was the one at the autopsy, not Kennedy's. In fact, they never identified the body as with fingerprinting or tooth records, dental records. So that was they never proved that the body they were speaking of was actually John Kennedy's body. John therefore was still in the back, and he later escaped. And basically, John F. Kennedy faked his own death, and that explains the whole thing. The reason for this was that he already knew there was a hit out on him, and that in hits like the mob hits that he was facing, they go after your family first, and he didn't want that. Plus, they wouldn't have killed him right away, which again shows he faked his own death too. And he faked his own death so that he could get out of the political situation he was in, where everybody wanted him dead, and they would have started with his family, not him. So John F. Kennedy we don't know what happened to him. He could still be alive for all we know. It just depends on how long it's been and how old he would be and all that. He faked his death. That's why Oswald didn't know anything about it. He really didn't know anything. Because Kennedy didn't even die. Somebody had to kill J.D. Tippit though, and that might have. I don't know if that was Oswald or someone else. I'm not really sure. Right now, I should be. Maybe that was maybe Oswald did kill J.D. Tippit, but didn't know anything about the Kennedy thing. Yeah, and then they used Tippit because he was a doppelganger. So it looked exactly like Kennedy to pose as the dead Kennedy, not the band. And then Kennedy basically got out, escaped, and therefore, by faking his death, he avoided any mob hit on his family and himself later. The mob people thought that the other guy in the mob did it. They didn't know. They knew they hadn't done it, but they known it must have been a mob hit. But yet they didn't know. They knew it wasn't them, but just thought it was the other guys, and the other guys. Everybody pointed the finger at someone else, but just thought that the other guy did it. And the reason for the hits out on Kennedy by the mob were that the mob is the one that John Kennedy's dad was in the mob or something like that. The mob actually helped Kennedy get elected. The mob actually helped Kennedy get the presidency, and then Kennedy and his brother kind of turned on them by just going against them. Kennedy went against the mob a lot, and in fact, his brother Robert Kennedy even tried to prosecute the mob. So Kennedy knew the mob had hits already out on Kennedy, and Kennedy knew it. So he picked his own death so he could protect his family and himself. And each mob person just thought the other mob guy did it. So that if anybody, the people that were So I just thought I'd share this with you guys. I'm transparent with you guys. I just want to let you guys know what I'm thinking. And this is the information I have now. So the conspiracy theories, even I am right. But the conspiracy theory book I have called by Dr. John Coleman called "The Conspirators Hired Committee 300." He doesn't know this either. Even the conspiracy theorists who themselves are very smart still think that Kennedy died, and that's not the truth either. So all the information I had about the Kennedy assassination from the Committee 300 book is incorrect. Doesn't make all the conspiracies incorrect, but it makes the Kennedy one, in this case, incorrect. Let me